Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to Chai with Rohima. On tonight's program, I have, in the words of Maya Angelou, two phenomenal women. With me is my guest, Nandita Sharmin, who is a herbalist and very well known. She's from Bangladesh, but also is an entrepreneur and has started a herbal career as part of generations of herbalists. And we'll hear from her in a moment. And later on, I have another guest who will join us by Skype. In today's program, it's my very first program, and I really want to welcome everybody to the show. Over the coming weeks, we will have several shows on different topics. I thought today's program would be very good because it's about diversity, it's about the strength of women, and we've just come through one hell of a year with COVID and the pandemic, and it's very hard to feel that you're beautiful or to feel that you want to care, and mental health has always been at the bottom of the list. But this is a time for us to come together and over a cup of tea talk about the issues that really matter to us. And just for now, it's with the well-being, and I think it's a topic that we all should be really want to hear about. So first of all, let me introduce you to Nandita Sharmin. Nandita, thank you and welcome to my show.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, Appa.
How
are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Than's for inviting me to your show.
You're very welcome. Of course, I've known you for many years now, and I've always been a keen follower of all of your work.
Thank you.
It's not just in the so-called beauty industry, but the natural beauty industry, but also your charitable work.
Yes.
So I'd like you to tell our viewers a little bit about what made you interested in, becoming a herbalist. I know your family traits were, but I'm sure our viewers would like to know more about your journey.
Yeah, because I came into this country as a student, and then finished my degree and everything. Then I started work in a bank. Then in the work, when I was working, I was feeling like there is no creativity. I'm not independent, so I want to work independently. And obviously, always I have interest in herbal and natural products. So then I've started my study here, got the degrees, and I started to look forward in back home, Bangladesh. Because what I've seen here, there are a lot of natural products company and everything. They're working already and getting the herbs from back home and other continental, where we have very rich herbs in back home. So I can work with that. So that's where I've started my journey with Amlaki in Bangladesh.
So with your, with your herbalist, your degree and everything, how did you find starting up a business in Bangladesh?
At first it was quite challenging, but I'm doing it for last 4 years, so I'm overcoming a lot of things and learning as well. So many things happening, but I'm happy, alhamdulillah, where I am now. So I'm happy. Yeah.
That's really good. And I know you are a young mother.
Yes.
And you have 2 children?
Yeah, I have 2 boys.
That's right,
yes.
2 young boys.
Yeah.
And how do you find the work-life balance, and how do you deal with that on a daily?
As a working mother, it is quite tough sometimes to balance your work with the household and kids. But obviously, if your partner is helpful, then it is extra. So my husband helped me a lot in this, the works and managing the kids. When I go back home, he look after the kids. That's the way I manage.
During the pandemic,
yes,
I'm sure I've watched a lot of your blogs, and a lot of women ask you on how they need to take care of themselves and
yes,
the mental health issues, and
yes,
you have come back to them. How do you, how would you say that this time of the pandemic has affected both your work and women in terms of healthcare and mental health?
The thing is, we all got depressed, what we have gone through, and still we're going through, and we don't know what's coming up. really. Still now we are quite unsure, but still now looking good the situation. But last year when the pandemic started, I found quite a, the woman I was doing the consultancy with the skincare and all. So when you go for the skincare consultancy, they start talking about their stress. Then when you talk more and more, they try, they talk about their issues and all. So first thing I try to talk with them positively. The positive vibe you need, and you have to stay positive, and you need to need help from your family, friends. So those kind of things I try to talk with them, like to calm them down and make them more like what can I say, on a
more positive
positivity.
But have you found that nutritionally wise people, because of obviously the stresses and strains, people have let go of themselves a little bit, and they're not sure what is the best thing to do in order
Yeah, of course they do, because people got depressed, and when you go depression, you eat more, you don't look after yourself, maybe you don't feel like not doing anything. So it impacts a lot your lifestyle. And also, when I work in the beauty industry, it impact on your skin, hair, a lot of things. So when the pandemic started, I've started doing the blogs and video, how to look after them at home naturally without buying any products maybe. So it helped, and I got a lot of responses from the women's and men's both. So I quite enjoyed it, and I'm doing it till now. I'm doing it.
I noticed that, but also one of the things I have to commend you for is that your charitable work, because I know you do a lot of work with the children in education of those in Dhaka, in the slums, and street children, and also from the rickshaws. How did you get involved in that, and what motivates you to continue not only with your charity there, but it's very, with everything that you do, your continued support has been, it's been actually so commendable, and I just feel that it's an inspiration for younger people who are starting out on a business and know that the struggles of starting out a business, but at the same time taking care of the wider community and those in need, and that's. It's not a selfish attitude at all. It's an attribute of generosity, of care, and I really do think that such charitable, care is worth recognition and accolade. So please tell us about your charity.
When I started last year, what I feel like as an entrepreneur, everyone have some bit of responsibility like CSR. So that's the point I've started. Then when I start working, looking into the which field should I start with, then I start with my the Bangladesh, they have homemade women, and they don't look after their health and everything. When they go older, they don't know about thyroid, they don't know about their diabetes, blood pressure. When I talk to them and I found out they need help, start from my home actually. Then I got the idea, why don't I start to help people and do some charitable work little bit. That's where I started my charity, and it inspired me a lot to do involve in different sector with the kids and the needy people who needs help.
So how many children or orphanages is it that you support?
There are 30 orphanages.
30
orphanages. Orphans. They are orphans. I accommodated them, and also they do the education up till the high school. And the homemade project hasn't been started yet because of the pandemic. I cannot arrange the get together and all, but I have in my mind that I will start soon, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Inshallah, and we wish you every very good luck with those things. And moving forward from that, I really think that you're doing such a worthwhile job, and without that, it's every little bit of charity helps. But the fact that when you're startup business, that you've kept the CSR, which is corporate social responsibility, the side of business to help the poor, I think that is something that more and more businesses are looking to attain.
The more and more get involved, more people will get help. And also, I would like to tell you, from last month I was thinking to start. I'm planning, already is in plan to do the post-COVID talk with the women. You know, the people are staying at home, got depressed, they got family issues, and older women, they don't have no one to talk to. So we will arrange some talk.
Is that here in the UK as
here
well?
In the UK, yeah.
That's wonderful, because you know there are many women who have faced, as we've seen, various levels of depression because of, you know, various levels. So I mean, it's a very good initiative, and I know there are lots of good organizations who will want and be looking for your help, and for sure we'll help guide you on that. And if there's anybody out there who also would like to help
I would
with
like
your
to
campaign.
you come in my talk one day and talk to the people. I would love to have you one day.
Thank you. I will definitely do that. I would certainly be a part of your campaign, and I hope others will follow and come into this campaign. Just after the break, we are going to watch a short video, and then come back to my next guest, who couldn't be with us because she's in Romania, but she's such a worthwhile guest. I did want her to, you know, to showcase her, and I'm sure that you'll see too that it falls in what is beauty and what is skin deep and what is heartfelt. And as I see with you, that, you know, phenomenal women.
Thank you.
We can actually see the video now, and then after the break we'll come back and I will come back to the program. As I said before the break, we are now going to meet the genius, the wonderful person that's behind the camera, and that's Mihaela Noroc. Mihaela is joining us from Romania. So she's, you know, she's a bit ahead of our time, so unfortunately we couldn't have her in the studio, and with the no-fly zone because of the pandemic, but I really wanted her on my show. So welcome, Mihaela, to Chai with Rohima. So happy to have you on my program. Thank you for agreeing to come on.
Hello, Rohima. Very nice to have this talk with you today. Of course, it would have been lovely to be right there in front of you, but this is fine, I guess. We have to adapt.
Well, you know, and adapt we shall. On the issue of adaptation, how on earth did you manage to travel 50 countries and take all these beautiful women, pictures of these women? I mean, I was totally mesmerized by your book, and once I picked it up, I just couldn't put it down. Just the beauty, the natural beauty, and the essence that you have captured about diversity and inclusion. Please tell me what led you onto that, you know, trail and that journey.
So the beginning of the project was very natural, and I was not thinking about doing a book or about doing a project in how you see it today. It was just a gradual process of traveling around the world with my backpack and my camera, and once I saw somebody on the streets of the world, I just asked politely if I can take a picture, and slowly this project developed. And I think after 3 years I realized that this can be a beautiful book and a very interesting concept. And it was an interesting ride. It was not easy at all, because some parts of the world are really complicated, very conservative, and very difficult to take pictures in. So, but the other parts of the world are more flexible. So it was very diverse and interesting.
How long have you been doing this? You know, collecting the photographs?
So now I have 8 years of working on the project. 8 years. 8 years. And I photographed, I think, maybe 2,000 women or 3,000 women. I didn't count, but I photographed thousands of women from all corners of the world.
Yes, absolutely.
And from all the cultures of the world. And it was a very interesting and very unique experience.
It must have been quite daunting, actually, just being out there on your own. How did you find it as a woman? I mean, you've been to Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, you know, to many of the different areas which women wouldn't normally trek on their own. So how did you find those travels?
So I didn't travel all the time on my own. Just recently, I returned from an Afghanistan trip where I was on my own, but I was helped by the locals. So whenever I go somewhere, I do ask the help of somebody that knows their way around the place, like a local guide or a friend that offers their help. So I make my research before. I also avoid going just by myself with a stranger in the car, for example. I try to go with public transportation. I try not to go out at night, just to be in the hostel before dawn back home. So you have to do your research. You have to look online to find some information about the places you're going. You just have to be very careful.
Recently, you also had a visit to Bangladesh, which is really interesting. And many of my, the majority of my viewers here are from Bangladeshi origin, and I would love to hear how you found Bangladesh and the women there, and how you got on with your travels there, and what you thought, what you felt was the strengths of the women, and also any kind of barriers that you felt towards not just your work, but to women of Bangladesh. As you know, we've had two phenomenal women leaders in Bangladesh, and the current Prime Minister has made, huge, differences in development. So, how did you find your trip, and when did you go?
I went there 3 years ago. I was pregnant. I was 4 months pregnant with my girl Natalia, and I was actually shocked because I had the impression that the people there are scared of cameras, and that it's going to be very complicated for me to take pictures. And it was quite the opposite. I loved going on the streets and finding these amazing, colorful women, very easygoing and very friendly. So it was quite a contrast from what I've heard before from the media. Whenever I thought about traveling to Bangladesh, I was unfortunately stereotyping and thinking in my head, okay, so if I go there, probably it's going to be too complicated for me to take pictures. People are going to be scared of the camera. Women are going to be, I don't know, afraid of me. But actually, when I went there, it was quite the opposite. I had a great time there. I went to Cox's Bazar as well. I mean, I went to Dhaka and then Cox's Bazar, and both locations were interesting, vibrant. The culture is really, really complex and beautiful. And what really surprised me were the colors that the women used there. The outfits were like mesmerizing. And yeah, I think it's important to travel, just like what happened to me, because I had this image before going there that it's going to be a closed place. People are scared of the outsiders. But no, actually, free-spirited people. You can find a lot of diversity in Bangladesh. Not to mention the food, of course, which was absolutely delicious. So yeah, and Bangladesh was a great experience, and I'm really happy that in my second book I'm going to be able to have pictures from there, Dhaka and Cox's Bazar as well.
Oh, that's going to be wonderful, and we look forward to that. Since the birth of your daughter, and obviously you've continued traveling until COVID and the pandemic obviously hit, how did you find that, kind of juggling between motherhood and your professional career as a photographer? How have you found that?
That this is very, very difficult. After becoming a mother, I realized how easier it is to be a man, because if you're a father as a man, things don't change too much, I think. But for me as a woman, things change really, really drastically, because I chose to be close to her. I chose to stay with her as much as possible, to breastfeed her, to give her the care that she needs. So I had to think about my project on the second place. So I put the project on the second place. When she was a bit bigger, at 1 year old, I started an 8-month trip around the world. So she actually has traveled in 30 countries so far.
Wow!
But it was, yes, she's a world traveler.
She's a world traveler and globalized.
Yeah,
globalized traveler.
Yeah. So, but it was difficult. It was not easy at all. I worked less. I stayed less on the streets of the world. I had to follow a schedule, a strict schedule. I had to be very careful with what she's eating, what she's touching, and everything. And actually, now we just returned from a trip. And I think now, when she's almost 3 years old, it's more complicated to travel with her than when she was 1 year old or 1.5 year old, because she was more flexible. I was just putting her in my back, my carry-on, my how do you call that? Yeah, and I was just taking her everywhere, breastfeeding her, so it was quite easy. But now it's more complicated. She needs to have friends. She needs to develop social skills. So this is a bit more complicated to do on the road. So next, I think I'm going to travel more and more by myself, like I did just recently. Went to Afghanistan without her. So this is
it's
what
very
I'm going
difficult to
try to do
juggle.
that.
But you've made a wonderful kind of balance with those things, and I agree. The pandemic has got into the way of most people and their goals, but you've achieved so much, and particularly with breaking down those barriers, as I said, about diversity and how we're all very much together, and as women, we may look different, we may come from different countries, different cultures, different faiths, different backgrounds, but our strengths and that strength in diversity is something that we should celebrate. And I'm so happy to have you here and to celebrate that with you, with that book, because there is a big gap in the market for the understanding, and it does go a long way to bringing people together and perhaps closing some of those misunderstandings. And I really want to thank you and praise you for taking that initiative and being courageous enough to go to these countries at times of turmoil. And it must have been quite dangerous for yourself, and I'm sure there were times where you had to second guess yourself, I hope.
Yeah, there were moments but I always thought that I have a higher goal, and that I was led by some force, that I'm here. And what can I say? If I was put in that position to be in that dangerous area, maybe there's a point for that. And I hope that I'm gonna make a picture that's gonna be all over the world, and that's gonna speak about the issue and bring more awareness and maybe help the local people. So whenever I was in that very stressful moment, I thought that maybe there's a point to this.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a Muslim woman, and in the Quran it says that that God made you into tribes and nations that you may get to know one another, and you single-handedly put together a book that put all these women from all these different places and managed to bring that humanity and that womanhood to that point of strength and and resilience, even when they're facing such huge issues and barriers.
Yes.
And that's to be commended. It's no wonder that Oprah Winfrey, CNN, New Statesman, and many others follow your work and follow you and have had you on as their guest. I want to thank you for being my guest. And hope that we can continue and follow you on your journey. And I would encourage anybody to buy the book. I'm going to hold it up. It's called The Atlas of Beauty, and it's on Amazon. And I can assure you that when you pick it up, you won't want to put it down. I mean, it's just the beauty, the natural beauty. It's not all about makeup, sexy clothes, and innuendos. It's about the natural beauty of women from all around the world, and it brings together that issue about what we talk about tribes and nations. Thank you once again, Mihaela, for joining us on our program, and I look forward to catching up with you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Mahela, very much for joining me. And after the break, we'll join with my other guest, Miss Nandita. So please come back and join me for the program after this short break. Earlier today with Mahela. And as you can see from her video and the talk that we had, breaking down barriers and discrimination against color, creed, faith. It's one of the things that I find that we don't pay enough attention to. And as a single person, Mahela alone, going out there to 50 different countries, taking over 2,000 pictures of women, showing that we are all part of one humanity. And you know, beauty is skin deep, but when you have a beauty that doesn't look inwards but looks outwards, well, you know, I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks back at you and blesses you for that, because one thing I'm sure of is that Mahela didn't have any thoughts that was discriminate in any way. And if you do manage to pick up a copy of her book, believe me, it's well worth it. I have not been able to put it down since I picked it up, because there's just so many inspirational pictures there. Coming back to Nandita, my guest in the
Yes,
studio
okay.
today, I was wondering,
Yep.
as there's been a lot of calls coming in asking about some of the home remedies, and of course to other viewers out there, please do call in if you have any questions. Please to ring Korean number is on the screen, and they're asking about what can they do at the moment. Obviously money is an issue.
Yes.
With the pandemic, everything has been, you know, more children are at home and more responsibilities. Some parents have not been able to work.
Yeah.
But how can they take care of themselves using some of the normal things that you would find in the home?
Yeah, it's very wonderful things we have in our home. Appa. We can take care of our skin. You know, in my blog, I always bully. ন্যাচারাল স্কিন কেয়ার যেরকম করে নেওয়া যায় বিভিন্ন হোম the remedies আছে আপা to look after the skin. So what I suggest to everyone, start your day with drinking warm water in the morning when you get up, and drink warm water. It will clear up your the toxin and everything, and is very good for your liver. When your liver is healthy, your skin will glow, and hair too. So this is the one thing I would suggest to everyone. Yeah, the warm water. And আপনারা চাইলে টারমারিক ইউজ করতে পারেন, যেটা আমি খাই এবং আমার ব্লগে এবং আমার পেজে গেলে আপনারা দেখবেন আমি অনেক স্টোরি শেয়ার করি হেলদি ফুড, সালাদ, এবং আমি বলি প্রচুর ফাইবার খেতে মানুষকে, তাহলে মেটাবলিজমটা অনেক স্ট্রং হয়, দেন আপনার ভিতরটা ক্লিয়ার হয়ে যায়। এবং যাদের একটু ফ্যাট ইস্যু আছে, যারা কমপ্লেইন করেন, তাদের জন্য কিন্তু গ্রিন ফুড এবং ফাইবার যেগুলো আছে ফুডগুলো, ওগুলো খাওয়া খুব ভালো। আর হোম রেমেডির মধ্যে স্কিন কেয়ারের মধ্যে তো অলওয়েজ একটা রুটিন আমাদের মেনটেন করতে হয়, যেমন ক্লিনজিং, টোনিং অ্যান্ড ময়শ্চারাইজিং। তো ক্লিনজিংটা কিন্তু আমরা হোম রেমেডিতে আমরা খুব পছন্দ করি, যেমন আমাদের কর্নফ্লাওয়ার আছে, তারপর নর্মাল ফ্লাওয়ার যেগুলো দিয়ে আমরা রুটি বানাই, দেন বেসন আছে, বেসন আমরা ইউজ করি, সেটাও কিন্তু আপনার জন্য একটা ওয়ান্ডারফুল ক্লিনজার হতে পারে। খুব ইজিলি আমাদের ঘরেই থাকে, আমরা রান্নার কাজে ইউজ করি, আমাদের খাবারের কাজে, সেটা কিন্তু আমরা খুব সহজেই একটা ক্লিনজার হিসাবে ইউজ করতে পারি, এবং আপনার স্কিনটাকে হেলদি লাগবে, গ্লো রাখবে, এবং দিস ইজ ন্যাচারাল, সো কোনো কেমিক্যাল রিয়াকশন হওয়ার কিন্তু সম্ভাবনা নেই। তো এটা আপনারা খুব সুন্দর একটা ক্লিনজার হিসাবে ইউজ করতে পারেন, বেসন, ময়দা, আটা, যেটাই আপনার কাছে থাকে। দেন আমি আসি রাইস ফ্লাওয়ার দিয়ে কিন্তু আপনারা লাইটলি স্কিন স্ক্রাবও করতে পারেন উইকলি একবার। তো স্কিন স্ক্রাবিংয়েরও আমাদের দরকার আছে, তাহলে স্কিনের যে ময়লাগুলো জমে এবং পোর্সটা ক্লগ হয় সেটা কিন্তু ক্লিন হয়ে যায়। তো উইকলি লাইটলি স্ক্রাব করতে বলি, খুব বেশি জোরে স্ক্রাব করলে আমাদের মাইক্রো ট্রিয়ার হতে পারে স্কিনে, তো সেটা অ্যাভয়েড করতে পারি। যারা অয়েলি স্কিন আছে তারা অনলি পানি দিয়ে রাইস স্ক্রাবটা মিক্স করে, মানে রাইস ফ্লাওয়ার যেটা, সেটা মিক্স করে স্ক্রাব করতে পারেন। এবং যারা ড্রাই স্কিন আছে, একটু ম্যাচিউর ফিল করেন, তারা ইয়োগার্ট বা মিল্ক ইউজ করে সেটা করতে পারেন। আর যেহেতু আমরা ইউকেতে থাকি, অবভিয়াসলি ওয়েদার একটু ড্রাই হয়, তো আমরা ক্রিমটাও কিন্তু ইউজ করতে পারি, সাওয়ার ক্রিম যেটা আছে রাইস স্ক্রাবের সাথে। তো এগুলো কিন্তু ওয়ান্ডারফুল রেসিপি, আপনারা ফলো করতে পারেন। তারপর অনেকে কমপ্লেন করে যে বাসায় থাকতে থাকতে স্ট্রেস হয়ে অনেকে হেয়ার ফল হচ্ছে, তো তো হেয়ার ফল
that's a huge one. I mean,
huge
the
problem.
exfoliant is very good that you described is a really good way for exfoliant. But mata chulze, I have heard that those who have suffered from symptoms of the pandemic of COVID, they have suffered with
hair fall. Because আমি সব সময় বলি আপা, লাইক আমাদের বডিতে যদি কোনো প্রবলেম হয় এবং মেন্টালি, ফার্স্ট টাইম বডি টার্গেট ইজ আওয়ার হেয়ার স্টার্ট ফলিং, দেন অন্য জায়গাগুলোতে যায় ডেফিসিয়েন্সি যখন শুরু হয়। তো হেয়ার ফলের জন্য অবভিয়াসলি আপনার খাওয়া দাওয়া লাইফস্টাইল মেনটেন করতে হবে, এবং একটা জিনিস মনে রাখতে হবে, আমার যখন কোনো প্রবলেম হবে কোনো আমার স্কিন বা হেয়ারে, প্রবলেমের রুটটা আগে জানতে হবে, তারপর আমরা এটার উপর বেস করে জিনিসগুলো করব। তো হেয়ার ফল যখন হয় অবভিয়াসলি আমার হয়তো কোনো মেন্টাল স্ট্রেস হচ্ছে, বা আমার কোনো ফুড ডেফিসিয়েন্সি হচ্ছে, বা খাওয়া দাওয়ার কোনো প্রবলেম হচ্ছে লাইফস্টাইলে, সেটা ঠিক করতে হবে। ভালো খাবার খেতে হবে, ইউ ক্যান টেক সাপ্লিমেন্ট লাইক বায়োটিন, ফিশ অয়েল, দিস আর ভেরি গুড। এগুলো খাওয়াও যেমন দরকার, এবং আমি সাজেস্ট করি সাপ্লিমেন্ট নিলে এটা আরও এক্সট্রা বুস্ট করে আপনাকে। দেন ইউ টেক কেয়ার অফ ইউর হেয়ার, লাইক হেয়ার অয়েল দিতে পারেন, যেমন আমাদের ইউকেতে যেটা আছে অর্গানিক নারকেল তেল যেটা আছে সেটা ইউজ করতে পারেন, অ্যাড উইথ দ্য ক্যাস্টর অয়েল, তারপর হোহোবা অয়েল, এগুলো মিক্স করে ইউ ক্যান ইউজ ইট। তারপর ফেনালগি সিড যে পাউডার, যেমন মেথির পাউডার যেটা আছে, সেটা কিন্তু আপনার নারকেল তেলে ইনফিউজ করে কয়েকদিন সেই তেলটা দিলে আপনার কিন্তু হেয়ার গ্রোথ খুব ভালো হবে। তো এইগুলো আপনারা কিন্তু বাসায় করতে পারেন, খুব ছোট ছোট রেমেডি। আর সামনে তো অবভিয়াসলি আপনার ঈদ আসছে, আবার কোরবানি ঈদ, অবভিয়াসলি উইল এনজয় দিস টাইম, হোপ সো দেয়ার উইল বি নো রেস্ট্রিকশন ইনশাআল্লাহ। সো সবাই চাই ঈদে একটু গ্লোয়িং হতে, একটু ভালো থাকতে, যেহেতু এই ঈদটা আফটার দ্য লকডাউন,
লং কোভিড
আমাদের ইউকেতে।
So the name of your blog is?
My blog, Amlokhi, my page.
Amlokhi.
Okay. You can follow Amlokhi786. If you go to the Facebook or Instagram, you can check me on there. But it's based on Bangladesh. So unfortunately, there are so many, the people wants my product here, but I can't do it right now. But I'm thinking about
the difficulty
it.
Of
getting and all the the paperwork and stuff. So those things. So I'm trying to. বাট এই ছোট ছোট জিনিসগুলো যদি আপনারা বাসায় করেন এবং একটু হেলথটাকে লুক আফটার করেন, কারো যদি এক্সারসাইজ করতে প্রবলেম হয়, হাঁটবেন অ্যাটলিস্ট 30 মিনিটস হাঁটাটা খুব জরুরি। বাইরে যেতে না পারলে ঘরের ভিতরে হাঁটবেন, বাট হাঁটাটা এমনভাবে হবে যেন আপনার শরীরে প্রেশারটা পড়ে, ইউ উইল ফিল দ্যাট ইউ আর ডুইং সামথিং, নট স্লোলি। ওভাবে হাঁটলে এটাও কিন্তু এক ধরনের এক্সারসাইজটা আপনার স্কিন এবং হেয়ারকে কিন্তু খুব হেলদি করে। যে মানুষ সবসময় রেগুলার এক্সারসাইজ করে আর যে বসে থাকে, তাদের দুজনের কিন্তু কি বলে বডি স্ট্রাকচার, স্কিন এবং হেয়ার মধ্যে তফাৎ আপনারা কিন্তু দেখতে পাবেন আপনি যদি একটু আশেপাশে তাকান। তো এটা ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট আমাদের লাইফস্টাইলের জন্য।
Thank you. I'm sure some of our viewers would be really interested to hear all of that, and also those that have rung in, if you have any further questions, please do call us. We're waiting for your call. Just so that you know, this is the first in a series of programs called Chai with Rohima, and I do look forward to in the coming programs to look at different issues that not only affect the community inward level, but also how we bring the outer community to better understand what affects the Bangladeshi community as a whole. And you will see in the future guests that we have on the show that it'll definitely be of interest to young, old, men, women, children. We hope that we will have something that will please everyone. I want to thank you, Nandita, for sharing. Those remedies.
Welcome.
That's okay. That's for sharing those recipes with us. But please, can you? I really want to go back a little bit.
Okay.
And ask you also, until we get some questions from the viewers, ask you a little bit about how important it is for women to understand that depression is not something that they need to be ashamed of or they need to hide from, and to reach out for help. As you mentioned earlier on that you would like to start a telephone line to do that. what, maybe you have some advice as well for those who are experiencing extreme depression and want to talk to somebody, but because of a language barrier, maybe, tara ki ba English matto parana hore tara English or helpline game, they don't get the same.
Yes,
so
in our community.
In our community, how do we, where do we go? What do we do? And what is the best things to do in order to reach out?
What I feel like, আপনারা মনে করবেন, we Allah আমাদের একটা life দিছে, and we have to live this life in a good way. Yes, that's the positivity we have to have in our mind. And we all have problem about. Without problem, no one has any life. We'll have the obstacle, stress with the family, maybe the kids, the partner, or friends, work, everything. It will come, or maybe health issues. So we have to talk to our family. If we cannot go to the family, then talk to the friends. And UK তে অবশ্যই তো অনেক রকমের হেল্প আছে, সেগুলোতে আপনারা যাওয়ার চেষ্টা করবেন। বিভিন্ন কমিউনিটি সার্ভিস আছে, সেগুলোর সাথে কথা বললে, কনসালটেন্সিগুলো নিলে I think we can overcome it. But আমার প্রবলেম আমাকে সলভ করতে হবে, এটা মনে রাখতে হবে, because it's my body and I have to bear the pain. No one will do that. So I have to take the initiative. That's the thing. We have to believe not only the depression of every aspect of life. We have to believe in that.
I agree. I mean, we focus and we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide us and give us the strength to do that. There are a number of English, whether it's Mind or other charities that are in or near your borough, so or within your areas. Please reach out. If they even if they are only English speaking, it may be that they'll be able to channel and direct you and direct you to the right way to get some help that you need. It's not an easy time for anybody, and we both know that raising a family and then having this thrown upon us. There are many people who've lost loved ones just recently,
many.
And the added burden of the pandemic and to that loss has left them feeling very how can I say, just very isolated, very desolate,
lonely,
very isolated,
helpless.
And it needs it needs to be talked about,
because people lost their loved one, partner, parents who they depend on. 100%. So
and
it's very
difficult.
difficult.
The chance to grieve properly.
Yes.
And again, all this affects your health. All this is something.
Everything.
I have a caller on the line. Can that caller? Hello. Assalamu alaikum.
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম, রহিমা আপু কেমন আছেন?
আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ভালো আছি, আপনি ভালো আছেন ভাই?
জি, আপনাদের দুইজনকে অনেক সুন্দর লাগতেছে, প্রোগ্রামটা অনেকক্ষণ ধরে দেখতেছি, খুব ভালো লাগতেছে।
জাযাকাল্লাহ খায়ের।
অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল যে আপনারা বিউটি নিয়ে কথা বলতেছেন, ছেলেদের নিয়ে তো আসলে তেমন কিছু বলেননি। তো আমাদের অনেক সময় হয় কি, স্ট্রেসের জন্য চুল পড়ে যায়, তখন মানে খুব কম বয়সে চুল পড়ে যায়। তো সেক্ষেত্রে আমরা কি করতে পারি, আর আমাদের জন্য কি কোনো সাজেশন আছে, বিশেষ করে এই সামারে বা এই ওয়েদার চেঞ্জের সাথে সাথে কি করতে পারি আমরা? যদি ম্যাডামকে এই ব্যাপারে কিছু বলতেন তাহলে আমাদের জন্য একটু সুবিধা হতো।
I didn't mention it's only for girls.
You didn't?
No, it's for everyone what I've said. But inshallah ভাই, আপনি যে কোশ্চেনটা করলেন is very good. ছেলেদের অনেক কারণে চুল পড়ে, অনেক সময় জেনেটিক্স থাকে, আপনার ফ্যামিলির কারণে বোল্ডনেস হয়, আর এছাড়া স্ট্রেস, এবং ছেলেদের আমি যেটা বেশি দেখি সেটা হচ্ছে ড্যান্ড্রাফ ইস্যু থাকে আপা। সো ওইটা ট্রিট করতে হবে, এবং আপনার খাওয়া দাওয়া লাইফস্টাইলটা একটু দেখতে হবে, এবং আপনার ড্যান্ড্রাফ আছে কিনা বা অয়েলি স্ক্যাল্প কিনা এই জিনিসগুলো একটু দেখতে হবে। তো ওই ধরনের শ্যাম্পু আপনাকে ইউজ করতে হবে, এবং আমি ছেলেদেরকে বলবো গো ফর দ্য চারকোল মাস্ক এই সামারের জন্য খুব ভালো। এটা অয়েল কন্ট্রোল করে ছেলেরা যেটা বেশি ফেস করে, এবং পোর্স মিনিমাইজ করে। তো ওই জিনিসটা আপনি করতে পারেন ভাই।
It's a very serious point.
Yes.
We know that men in general they do worry about hair falling.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, there is something about genetics which unfortunately we can't help. But to do the best that you can to keep your hair as long as you can,
yes.
I would suggest that you do take up some of the wonderful tips that Nandita has given you so far.
Because I got so many clients who are men, they're using my products, but obviously they don't come forward because men do get shy.
I don't understand the barriers between men.
Bangladesh is they do.
these days, I think I think men and women
both are same.
value grooming.
Yes.
You know, and
Everyone
it's not
deserve grooming.
Yeah, whether they're young or old, grooming is an issue. Cleanliness is an issue.
Yes.
And it's something that comes as, you know, as part of our daily routine.
Yes, yes.
So I you know, please don't be shy.
Yes.
And thank you, caller, for calling
Thank
in
you.
and you know, asking the question.
Yes.
But no, you know, thank you for that. So, is there something that you could say that the people should do on a daily basis that would perhaps give them that, apart from drinking the water on a health basis,
Yes.
but mentally, are there anything, I mean, from an Islamic perspective,
Yes.
you know, we do quite a lot in terms of,
Yes.
you know,
The prayer
tasbih
and every
prayer
tasbih,
and things
namaz.
and
This is
namaz
very
and
important part,
meditating.
meditating, Appa. And also, you know, because it's like online, Facebook, Instagram, they open the world to us.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of talks, you know, the positive talks.
Yes.
Listen to those, then you will feel more motivated, inspired from that.
I have to say though, I mean, one of the things I found, you know, as it's an informal chat here, is one of the things I find is just as much as it's open to us, social
Yes,
media is open
social
to us,
media, yes.
and you can get as much from, you know, okay,
Exactly.
do the dhikr, do the namaz, the salah, and
Yeah.
things. When I see all this stuff about Palestine and Rohingya
Yeah.
and
It's
you know,
sad, very sad.
yeah,
Yes.
you know, I just feel so disheartened, and I you know, and that brings me down. It really does bring
Yeah,
me
it does.
down.
But
and
it's balance of life, Appa. You will see the sad things and good things. You know, this is the way it is.
yeah,
What I feel.
but
you-
at the minute I think the balance is off. But I hope inshallah.
But inshallah it will
it will
solve.
mend itself,
That's
solve
what we
itself.
pray. There are a lot of kids and women, people are suffering there. Our prayers with them.
100%. I don't want.
100%.
I didn't want to leave this program without saying that,
Yeah,
you know,
our
they are
prayers with them.
constantly in our minds, constantly
Yes.
in our thoughts, and of course you know, we do pray that, you know, not only
Yes.
justice is served, but peace is upon
Yes,
everybody, and
everybody.
don't tarnish everybody with the same brush. Of course not. You know,
Yeah.
life is life, but
Yes.
you know, we want everybody to be able to. We want everybody to be able to see that there is a way forward. Sometimes
Yes.
these things can also put the burden on you as
Yeah.
like, what can I do? What
Yeah,
can
what
I do?
can you do? Yes.
And we don't address it. And as
Yeah.
we don't address it, then other things happen.
But in that case, I'm telling you, but there are few courses I attend to regarding the skin care, master care, and specialized. But those courses fees goes to the help with the Palestine people.
Yeah.
So that's where, you know, I thought, you know, why don't I do the course, and you know, money will go to that charity. So
Again.
there's small way you can contribute, because maybe you can't be there. It's not possible for us, but the way you can pray, small things you can do for them.
Absolutely.
So not
as they say,
everything, everything.
even a smile is charity.
Yes,
And,
everything you can
you know,
do.
beauty,
whatever.
as we say, is skin deep. And as I've said in my earlier on, I've had the privilege of having two phenomenal women on my program today, and I hope that you will stay with us in the future and join me again with Chai for Rohima, because our programs are for you. And if you have any comments, any thoughts, or any feedback, please do get in touch. The number is on the screen, and I'd be happy to take your calls or to respond to you on or offline. It doesn't matter. I think your opinions are valid and they're important, and I do want to hear what is important to you. So please do call in, do send a message. The details are there, and I look forward to seeing you on my next program, which will be 2 weeks from today. You know, I want to once again say thank you very much.
You're
for
welcome, Appa, to
coming
having
to
me
my
here.
program. It's been such a pleasure.
Yes.
And you know, as I said, and once again, another point out to the book, which is the Atlas of Beauty. Please, it's by Mihaela Nura. If you do want to buy it, it's on Amazon. and I recommend it to everybody. It's a great resource. I mean, when you think about diversity, when you think about, you know, all of us as human beings and the strength of a woman, here is something that just a smile from a 100-year-old woman will, you know, if you're depressed, that's going to lift you. So please do have a look and watch the video again if you can, because it's very uplifting, and I do recommend that. So with regards to our next program, it'll be at the same time, as I said. Thank you again for watching the program. Bye. Thank you very much for watching. Assalamu alaikum.